the only one without a bulletin. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, it's good to be back. Pardon me, I am a little sick, you know. I suppose I'm in the good company of all parents, grandparents, and guardians who, when a baby gets a cold, you get the cold as well. So that's the case. And Edith has a very runny nose, and so do I. So I'm a little stopped up. Pardon me for that. But let's open worship today with prayer. Dearest God, pour out your Holy Spirit on us gathered here. Let us not do our will but yours. Let us draw closer to you. Let us leave ourselves behind and follow you to a new self, to a new calling, to a new land, God. Even through our faults, you call us to new places, to do new things, to bless all the people, God. You take us as we are and lead us to new places where we've never been. So God, help us to be mindful of your presence with us. You are not far away. They come to us even in our dreams to get our attention and to let us know that you are close. Amen. Amen. Let's stand and pray together our responsive litany as led by Dean Carter. No microphone. You got to project.
Stand here. Everybody gather. All right. We gather in the name of the living Christ to worship God.
Surely God is in this place and calls us to worship in spirit and in truth.
God's love is for you and for all people everywhere.
That we may share God's love and life, may we be renewed in the refreshing spirit of the living Christ.
The living Christ is with us.
Praise the Lord. Amen.
Let's remain standing if you are willing and able for a medley hymn of praise. We'll sing the first two stanzas of Rock of Ages and then three stanzas of Nearer, My God, to You.
Yeah.
get a hymn so specific to a text like "Here my God to Thee," but it is all about the text of Jacob dreaming of Yahweh. Let's have a couple of announcements, and then we'll be in prayer for one another. We will, and of course, we don't have prayer request cards, so we'll have to say all of our prayer requests for each other. But the big news is that tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we are loading up our 8 campers to go to Camp Lake Stevens in Oxford, Mississippi. So Shalia, Raheem, Lizzie, of the kids who are here, Rosanai, is that you back there? And more others we've got going. So if any of y'all want to come and pray for them as they go off in the morning, please do. We got sleeping bags for them and everything like that. And so we're ready to hit the road. And thanks to Lisa, who's carpooling as well. And be a prayer for us as we drive up that way. And we're really excited about that. Thank you to those of you who wrote letters to give to the youth over the course of the week. We really appreciate that. And thank you to Jennifer for making that happen. Coming up, you can take a look at what's next. We will have there are 2 family movie nights this week, and it's not just youth and children. Adults are welcome to come to these movies. They're good films. I get the ones that are well reviewed. So, because I don't want to spend money on them. But also, this is the last Sunday we'll take up an offering for the blessing of the backpack. So to make sure kids who are most connected to the church have at least a backpack or some school supplies appropriate to their age level. And if we have some money left over, we're able to do things like make sure kids have school uniforms. Kids grow fast, so they'll need to use school uniforms sometimes. So please give. Even $1 will make a difference and help us pay for that. And then in 2 weeks, after lunch bunch, we'll have children and youth ministry training. We'll do a safe sanctuary training, so that's anybody who works with a minor, and then do children's church, and then the people who teach Sunday school will stay after that. So just teach you, just stay for safe sanctuary, and then you can leave after that. And then the leadership team retreat is at the end of August, Sunday the 27th. And not only is the leadership team going to be invited, but the staff parish relations committee will be invited too. So I'll make sure that those of you on that committee get an invite. Any other activities that I may be leaving out? Upcoming events or opportunities? Well, I will say that Laura's done some research with Mike on our options with the air conditioner and sent those quotes out to the leadership team. And so if you have any questions or want to write Laura a check, feel free to do that. I'm going to go to Ecclesia, it's not a congregation that worships here in the evenings, and go raise some money from them already. Mike Dixon, the pastor there, is going to make a donation. And so I know that they want to support us, and all of our tenants are good about splitting costs like that with us. So we'll probably save just a few thousand just worshiping in the chapel for a month or so, just on the power bill. So that's just the kind of thing you got to do. If you're willing to make a donation, we appreciate it. I'd rather you give to backpacks first, but if you feel called to give to the air conditioning, you can do that as well. All right. Well, any other announcements, something I forgot? Okay. Well, let's pray. God, thank you for all that we're up to this week. We especially pray for our youth who are going to summer camp this week. We pray that they have, that they draw nearer to you, that they have experience similar to Jacob, and that they sense how close you really are in their lives and how much you want a personal relationship with them. Amen. Let's be in prayer for one another. One of our main backstage helpers is Mark Hammonds, and he's not here today because he got into some poison ivy and fire ants. So, poor Mark, that's why he's home. Harley is home. as well. And Dixie Moore was in the hospital for a couple of days this past week, but she is home. I talked to her this morning. Let her know we'll be praying for her. Pray for me, I'm sick too. How else can we be in prayer with one another? Raheem? Pray for me. What you praying for me about? Did I get my thank you so much? Yeah. Diane? Wait, say that again? Yeah. Yeah.
Raising her $7,200.
That's great. Where is she going?
She is going to Cambodia and in Thailand.
That's great.
So I have a praise, my daughter-in-law Melissa's mother, about to have a heart attack. They upon reviewing all of it, they not intended.
Okay. We'll keep her in prayer as she recovers. Emma?
That mom's back with them.
Oh, yeah.
She arrived from really early.
Yeah, I think they have mom back.
The only first one, she's having breathing issues.
Preston?
Well, my school starts back for me in 2 more weeks, and my mother is getting back to work at school a week earlier tonight.
Right. We'll pray for all the teachers and students. Bobby, did you have anything?
Yeah, I just want to thank my Christian family for praying for me. God was with me.
Amen.
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 Felicia?
Pray for Anita Rucker and Naya Trophy family, my mom, who her back out.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's the name of that? What's the first name of that second person? That second person, Anita Rucker, and then
Sorry.
Oh, Sanaya. How else can we be in prayer?
I just wanted to thank God this morning for the beauty of my children around and my family. I'm just overwhelmed because Maria made it through a week of camp and she had a glorious time, and I want to thank God for being with her and her growing up, and Eli is doing well in her group,
Yeah.
and Roland is doing well, and at his school learning how to be an electrician, and I just want to praise God for their well-being.
Yeah. Julia? Oh, great. That's great. Rain? For Clinton? How are we praying for Clinton? Okay, well, Clinton, you're not alone. You're not alone, Clinton. So, Alicia.
This is a praise. I ended up being an employee of the month, and I have been in my job 6 months.
That's great. Talisha said she got the employee of the month, and she's only been there 6 months. That's great. That's great. Well, let's enter a time of prayer and we lift up these prayer requests and be in prayer for one another. And then we'll pray our prayer. Whenever that happens, you have to break out into Jesus calls us. Oh, Jesus calls us. Let us be in prayer as children of God. Dearest God, we gather as your flock and as your children. So we pray the prayer that our brother Jesus taught us to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is done in heaven. And give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. God, we come together to pray for all people who are strangers to us, and for our enemies. We pray for their health and happiness and that there be peace between us. And I'll lift up a few people out of our minds and hearts this morning. God, we pray for people who cannot be here this morning because they are sick or ill or recovering, such as Mark Hammonds, Carly Hammonds, and Dixie Moore. God, to your love.
We trust this prayer.
Pray for people who are here, like myself, who are still sick. And we pray for a quick recovery. God, to your love.
We trust this prayer.
God, we pray for Raheem, for James's mother Dorothy, and for his friend Quentin. God, to your love.
We trust this prayer.
We rejoice with Diane that Courtney raised all the money necessary for her mission trip to overseas. And God, to your love.
We trust this prayer.
We rejoice with Sarah Phelps that Melissa's mother didn't have as bad of a diagnosis as thought, and pray for her quick recovery. God, to your love.
We trust this prayer.
We rejoice with them of a reunited family, and glad that her mom is back. God, to your love.
We trust this prayer.
We pray for Lisa for her mother, Virginia. God, to your love.
We trust this prayer.
We pray with Preston as school starts back, and pray for students and teachers. God, to your love.
We trust this prayer.
We rejoice with Bobby for his church family who supported him while he was in the hospital and rehab. God, to your love.
We trust this prayer.
We pray with Talisha for Anita, Sanaya, and Tyquel, and we rejoice with her that she got Employee of the Month. God, to your love.
We trust this prayer.
We rejoice with Jamie for her children and her family. So glad that Maria had a good week at camp, that Eli and Roman are doing well. God, to your love.
We trust this prayer.
And we rejoice with Shalia and Quan. Quan got a job this week. God, to your love.
We trust this prayer.
And God, I lift up to you all these unspoken prayers. God, to your love.
We trust this prayer.
God, as we draw close to you, become mindful that we are not like you. We don't love as fully as you do. So we pray this prayer of confession together. Holy God, we confess that we are guilty of pushing you to life's periphery. We serve you only when it seems convenient. We follow Jesus only when it is to our benefit. We call on the Holy Spirit only when our own efforts fail. Holy Spirit, rekindle the embers of our faith. Cleanse us of all sin and make us obedient servants. Remake us in the image of your righteousness and teach us the true meaning of discipleship. Amen.
Praise
we take time to give to the ministries of our church because we believe those ministries are valuable. But it's primarily for those who made a commitment to support the ministries of the church. So if this is your first time here, please let this just be a gift from us to you. But if it's your second time or 200th time, give as much as God is calling you to give. Let's stand for our doxology. God, we thank you for the gifts we're able to give to our common life as a church family. Let us use these with wisdom, compassion, generosity, and creativity. And remind us that we have got a lot of gifts that we can't fit into these plates, gifts that are in our minds and hearts, hands and feet. Sometimes we don't even know about these gifts. But help us to become aware of them and help us to point them out in others so that we can use these gifts to serve others with wisdom and compassion and generosity and creativity. Amen. Jesus Christ died for us while we were yet sinners. This proves God's generous love for us. In the name of Jesus Christ, you are forgiven.
In the name of Jesus Christ, you are forgiven.
Peace be with you.
And also with you.
Let us pass the peace of Christ to one another.
These
Mr. Redeem. It's an honor. Thank you so
Or hit each other.
I hadn't seen so many people in so long. Well, Jesus said, let the little children come to me and say, well, I like this with the song 5 and This is where children belong. God's word read and kept where it's song. Well, today we talked about, in Sunday school, we talked about Elisha and how he helped a widow fill jars with oil. She was broke and her husband had died. That's what a widow is. Her husband had died. And she didn't have any money, and the people were going to come and take her sons and sell her sons into slavery to pay her debts. And so she went to Elisha for help. And what Elisha did was, what have you got? And he got, she said, all I've got is a little bit of olive oil. And he said, okay, well, take that little bit of, get all the containers you could possibly get and borrow them from your neighbor and put them in your house, put them in a room in your house, go in there, shut the door, and start filling them with oil from your little jar. And when she did that, all the jars filled up to the top. And then what happened? You remember what happened to them? What did
they
Elisha
gave
tell her
it
to do?
away so that they were paid and happy so that she could keep her son.
That's right. So she sold that oil so that she could pay those debts and keep her sons. Well, I want to teach, Preston, I want to make sure everybody knows that lesson. Because what does that mean about good people of God? What kind of people do they help?
That they'll help anyone.
That they will help anyone, and they especially want to help people who are most in need. So children, widows, and people who are poor. That was what Elisha did. What other kind of people do good people of God help? Who can we help?
They usually help people who, disciples or people who trust in God's Spirit for always.
That's right, that's right. We tend to be able to better help people who also trust in God, and then God is really able to work in their lives in amazing ways. So what I want you to do is be a little bit like Elisha. I want you to help people like Elisha helped. I want you to be able to help people who are marginalized, people who are poor, people who have lost their loved ones and are sad, people who are children who don't have all their parents. I want you to be able to be like Elisha and help people like that. Will you do that? Will you help people like that? I need your help helping people like that. I'm not as powerful as Elisha. I can't do it by myself. So let's pray, and then you can go to children's church. God, we thank you for these kids. We thank you for this day. And we thank you for the example you set in your servant, your prophet Elisha. Help us to all be as considerate and caring as he was. Amen.
Amen.
All right, if you want to go to children's church, you can. And or you can stick around. Read another story about oil used in a different way. We've been reading through Genesis, and I think, Diane, did you do your children's lesson last week on Jacob and Esau? Is that right? Did you talk about the stew, or the first time that when he deceived his brother, or when he deceived his father? You talked about he deceived his brother. So then what Diane talked about last week was that Jacob and Esau were twin brothers, born at the same time, and Jacob tricked his brother Esau out of his birthright, out of the right to his blessing, and he received a blessing from his father. So not only, a couple chapters later, Jacob tricks his father, Isaac, dresses up as his brother, and brings a, so Isaac tells Esau, okay, I'm about to die. Go get you're a good hunter. Go get me something out of the field. Hunt me something good. Cook me up a big, good meal that I like. Bring it back to me, and I'll bless you. So Jacob and his mother overhear this. And his mother, his name's Rebecca. She was a trickster, a powerful woman who had plans for her son. What she does is says, Jacob, okay, you go get a nice lamb or goat, I forgot what it was. I'll fix up a quick meal. You take it in there to your father before your brother gets back, and you get the blessing. And so that's what Jacob said. Well, you might not know it's me, so you put on your brother's clothes. What if he touches me? Well, I'll put some lamb skin on your neck so it feels like your brother's skin. And then Jacob goes and tricks his father and gets the blessing. And in that, his father says, oh, Jacob, he says, oh, Esau, my son, how is it that you caught something so quickly? And Jacob says, oh, the Lord was good to me. The Lord provided. It's the first time Jacob ever uses the word God, and he uses it in a lie. And so, this young man who does not know God and has only used God's name in vain now has his own solitary experience of this God. Starting in chapter 28. Jacob left Beersheba and set out for Haran. He reached a certain place and spent the night there. When the sun had set, he took one of the stones at that place and put it near his head. Then he lay down there. He dreamed and saw a raised staircase, its foundation on earth and its top touching the sky. And God's messengers were ascending and descending on it. Suddenly the Lord was standing on it and saying, I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham and the God of Isaac. I will give you and your descendants the land on which you are lying. Your descendants will become like the dust of the earth. You will spread out to the west, east, north, and south. Every family of earth will be blessed because of you and your descendants. I am with you now. I will protect you everywhere you go, and I will bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have done everything that I have promised you. When Jacob awoke from his sleep, he thought to himself, the Lord is definitely in this place, but I didn't know it. He was terrified and thought, this sacred place is awesome. It's none other than God's house and the entrance to heaven. After Jacob got up early in the morning and took the stone that he had put near his head, he set it up as a sacred pillar and poured oil on the top of it. He named that sacred place Bethel, though Luz was the city's original name. Jacob made a solemn promise. If God is with me and protects me on this trip I'm taking, and gives me bread to eat and clothes to wear, and I return safely to my father's household, then the Lord will be my God. This stone that I've set up as a sacred pillar will be God's house. And of everything you give me, I will give a tenth back to you. The word of God from the people of God.
Thanks be to God.
This week, we've got some of our youth here. This week, so I hate to spoil the surprise, so you can plug your ears during this part. But I wrote some notes for our youth, and a lot of y'all did the same thing, for them to receive while they are at summer camp. And I told them that Camp Lake Stevens is a really special place to me, because it was at that camp growing up as a young person that I made commitments to Jesus, to make him my personal friend, my God, my Lord, and my Savior. It is there that I really cultivated a personal relationship with Jesus. We can know about God, but do we know God personally? Do we have a sense of how God acts in our own lives? And I wrote this out and said, I hope that you'll realize how close God is and how God wants a relationship, a personal relationship with you. Now, I don't use that language a whole lot in youth or even in my sermons. And one reason is it was a little overused in my youth. And sometimes when something is so overused, it almost loses all meaning, right? You don't actually define it and describe it. So what does a personal relationship with God really like? And for me now, a personal relationship with God is praying to Jesus as a person, as if Jesus could really hear me. And one of the prayers that I use is what's called the Acts prayer. And if you were at our spiritual life retreat, we talked about this. I grew up with a block of wood that had 4 words on it: adoration, confession, thanksgiving, and supplication. Right? How many people were taught that? Sarah, I can see a few people were taught that. And it's a way of praying. So it spells the word Acts, like the book of Acts. And I use that now when I like that format a lot. I think I've preached on that before, how much I like saying, adoring God for who God is to me. So when I pray to Jesus, I say, Jesus, my friend, my teacher. At least that's what I've been praying this past week. That's what I've been, a friend and a teacher. I confess to God the sins that I feel like I've committed that day. And then I give thanks to all that I have. I've got this little piece of pottery in my house, and it says, it asks a question. It says, what if God gave you tomorrow only what you were thankful for today? And that's really convicting to me. What if God only gave you tomorrow what you have been thankful for today? Because I should be thankful for what I've already got before I start asking God for more. And so that's why that's at the end of the prayer. Then ask God for what I need, for health maybe, or for the ability to forgive, or for the ability to work hard. That's what I want, of course, everybody to learn, not just our youth. But I think when we develop a personal relationship when we're young, then the big decisions we make when we're young can be guided by God, and not just by our own whims or by the whims of people around us. So the reason I brought that up is that before this story, so Jacob does not have a personal relationship with God. The only time he's mentioned God is in a lie to his father, dressed up as his brother. So he doesn't know the God of his father or his grandfather personally. He's a deceiver of his brother and father. He uses God's name in vain, and now he's on the run because he's upset with his brother. His brother seems to want to kill him, or at least has said that in a fit of rage. And Jacob is truly alone for the first time in his life here. And I think this is when he really needs God. I think God knows that he really needs God at this point. So God comes to him, to talk to him in this dream. And it's interesting to note that God doesn't come to judge him, to say anything about what he's done. So Jacob dreams of this staircase leading to heaven. Some older translations say ladder, but it's more likely a staircase. There are temples of that culture at the time that had these, they were built like pyramids, and they were thought to be the top layer of the pyramid. That was where God lived. The priests would walk up the staircase and commune with God and come back down. That's probably what Jacob is thinking. And Yahweh reveals God's Son as the God of Abraham, to Isaac, and God makes to Jacob the same promise that God has made to Abraham and to Isaac. Land, descendants, and you will bless everybody. So I bless you so that you bless everybody. Same promise that we've heard throughout Genesis. But then God gets personal. God addresses Jacob where he is and has a particular promise for him. It says God is with Jacob right at that point, when he's on the run, when his life is an immigrant, as he goes to this other land, and as he comes back to the land to which his grandfather immigrated. And then Jacob accepts these promises and then makes promises of his own. He says, okay, God, if you do this, I'll make you my God, my personal God. So he erects this place of worship. He promises to support the worship of his God with his resources. A tenth of all he gains will be given back to God. This is where we see Jacob begin this ongoing personal relationship with God. And Many chapters later, he will return to this place and build the altar kind of up into more of a place of worship. And God renames Jacob Israel twice, and one of the times in which God renames Israel is at this holy place. So here's one of the important things to note, though. Jacob didn't have to be perfect for God to initiate a relationship with him. Jacob didn't have to be particularly noble or religious for God to decide to spend time with him, for God to help him. He didn't have to be perfect or sinless or wonderful for him to be worthy of God's presence, God's assistance, or God's blessing. So this past Wednesday, I was at some meetings and a man came to the church looking for some help. And that's pretty common. If I'm here, usually some few people will come every week looking for some sort of help. He was trying to get to Gulfport, and he needed some gas. But of course, as most people will, he would take money if I was willing to give money. But I am not willing to give money to just about anybody. So, but more importantly in the story, what this man started talking to me about was, he kind of told me his story about what he'd gone through, and which is fine, I don't have a problem with that, but he was using his story to try to justify himself, to say, Pastor Brad, I'm worthy of the help that I hope you will give me. Here's why I'm worthy. And I ended up saying, listen, you don't need to prove that you are sinless for me to help you. I don't think anybody is sinless. If I only thought I could help sinless people, I would help no one. You don't need to prove yourself to me for me to help you. Help is something everybody needs and everyone deserves, as long as it's the right kind of help. So it really struck me. I ended up preaching to this guy, like right outside of the church. He just got an impromptu sermon. He said, you don't got to prove yourself to me. You know, and of course it struck me, if you are sinless, why are you asking for help? You know, if you're perfect, why would you need to ask for help anyway? And people who, of course, think they're perfect and think they don't need help, there are those people, and that's sad. But I think we can learn from him. Our calling, I think, is to admit our imperfections before all else. And then you can ask for help. I've messed up, we can say. I need help fixing this. How can you help me? Because I think once we admit that we're not perfect, once we admit our particular sins, and everybody's got our own unique set, then we can begin to get the help we need. But if we don't admit our problems, we're never going to seek solutions or accept help from others. You know, Jacob didn't have to be perfect for God to join him and to help him. Jacob didn't have to be perfect to be worthy of God's help. I think we're the same way. It's better to admit our unworthiness, our unique set of problems, so we can get the particular help we need. You know, I have heard Christians talk about how they want to go overseas to help people in need because they perceive those people as more deserving of help than some poor people who are a little bit closer by. Of course, obviously this is not everyone, and obviously those people overseas do help. But there's an internal perception that those people deserve help because they're more innocent, whereas the people somehow closer by are more guilty and therefore undeserving. And how sad that is, because I've been overseas to El Salvador, and guess what? There are rich people in El Salvador who live in nice houses, and they look at their own poor people and think those people are unworthy of my help too. So the problem with that is that it's not Christian. Just someone does not need to have a certain innocence in order for us to help them. Otherwise, we really wouldn't help anybody. You know, let me think of an example about how, if I can admit that admit what my problem is. Let's say my problem is anger. Let's say my problem is self-absorption. Just hypothetical, of course. Yeah. But if my problem is self-absorption and somebody ignores that flaw and just helps me by comforting me and saying, oh, Brad, you're right. And all of those people that you're annoyed at, they're just terrible. Is that person really helping me, David? No, they're not. All right? They're not helping me in the way that I really need help. A true helper is going to be honest about my flaws, but is going to be loving enough to not let my flaws become unworthy enough. In fact, a truly loving person is going to notice my flaw and say, let me help you overcome that self-absorption. Let me help you focus on how you can really serve others, bring joy to others, see the good in others. This was many months ago. I had a particularly difficult youth session with one of the youth. And I came in on Thursday morning and I told Jamie, I said, Jamie, I don't know if I care about this guy anymore. And she said, well, Brad, then you've got plenty of company. Because I think a lot of people don't care about him either. And well, that stopped me in my tracks. Because she didn't say, oh, Brad, you're right. You just don't have to care about him. Instead, she challenged me to reach a little farther into my heart so that I could develop sympathy for this young man. Same thing with anger. We have an anger problem. We're lazy. We can have people who enable us, or we can have people who truly help us by acknowledging that problem and helping us work through those problems. Because the Christian thing to do is to help people no matter who they are. Take time to get to know them so we can figure out how to help them in ways they need help. And after Jamie told me that, I made a point to get to know that youth better so that I could figure out how I can honestly help him, how I can really help him, how he was, and not enable him. So, how does this Old Testament lesson on judgment relate to a personal relationship with Jesus? Well, I find that if you pray to Jesus as your personal guide and friend and confess your sins to him, then he becomes the perfect one in the relationship, and you realize you're not the perfect one in the relationship, and you accept his help even though you're sinful. You're in the place of Jacob and God. You accept his help, and even while admitting you did not earn it, while you are imperfect, and then, I think then, we are better prepared to help others who also do not earn our help, even though they're imperfect, and even though we can see their imperfections. When we have an ongoing personal relationship with Jesus, we become more like Jesus to other people. We become more like Jesus to the people we meet. So that's good news, I think. I think that's good news, that having a personal relationship with Jesus makes us more like Jesus. The challenge is this. Of course, the good news always comes with a challenge. If you find yourself withholding your help from others because you've decided they're unworthy or undeserving, then check on your personal relationship with Jesus. Check on it. Are you praying to him daily? All right, especially before you go to sleep. Are you kind of confessing your sins to him, asking for his help in overcoming your difficulties, your sinful habits, your hurts, your pains? Because if you're not praying to Jesus in this way, that may at least explain why you're unwilling to help others or see the good and worthiness in others. Loving Jesus will help you love others. Loving Jesus will help you love others. God tells, I'm going to end with this. God tells this imperfect man, Jacob, he says, every family on earth will be blessed because of you and your descendants. God accepts Jacob and seeks to guide him in a way that will make him a blessing to others. We are like Jacob. And Jacob, in the book of Genesis, is renamed Israel, and he represents all the people of Israel. And so when the people of Israel read the stories of Jacob, they're supposed to be seeing themselves in the character. And so God is trying to guide us in a way to turn us, we who are imperfect tricksters, into people who bless everyone we encounter and bless everyone across the world. So that God, the good news is that God will turn we who are sinners into blessings. The good news is that God will turn you who are sinners into blessings that bless all people. Amen.
Amen.
in? You want to come back in, baby arms? No. Stand back down the hall. Well, the mission of the United Methodist Church is to make disciples of the transformation of the world. And that's what I preach about. When you become a disciple of Jesus, and that means having a personal relationship with Jesus, you will be used by God to change the world. God will turn you into a more loving person. And if you ever want to talk about, Brad, how do I have a more personal relationship with Jesus, I would love to talk to you about that, because mine has changed a lot since I went to summer camp when I was a kid. There are many things that have changed about it, but the basic thing that is the same is that I still pray to Jesus by name, and I still imagine him there before me, just as God was there before Jacob in that tree. So let's pray our hymn of commitment. And if you need to pray, you can find a place on this altar rail. If you need to pray, you may. And let's stand as we sing. We are climbing Jacob's ladder. We'll sing stanzas 1 through 4. What they are doing is doing the work of God in the world. If you've been paying attention to Genesis, there are a lot of messengers of God that show up to Abraham, especially, bringing the word of God and doing the will of God. Jacob is called to be one of those messengers who does the word and the will of God in the world, and we too are called to be those messengers as well. Young and old, all of us are called to do God's work. And God will wake us up and call us to do that work. Amen? Amen. Go in peace. The God of love and peace does go with you. Amen.